Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started.
Triple H recently came under fire by WWE fans owing to his upcoming Hall of Fame induction. However, a veteran believes the anger against him is misdirected. Since his ascension to the top of the company's administration, Triple H has put in tremendous effort to revolutionize the pro wrestling scene. His work has certainly not gone unnoticed, as he has always been quite generous with public appearances. According to Vince Russo, that could be part of the issue causing fans to turn against him. On Sportskeeda's The Wrestling Outlaws, Russo stated that Triple H's overexposure may be a reason for the backlash. The WWE veteran said, "Triple H is all over everything, all over everything. All over the WrestleMania promo. He is all over. Vince never did that. He never ever put himself all over everything. So I think the combination of the two, Chris, if Triple H was not in so many packages, going out there in the beginning of WrestleMania, if he didn't put himself out there as much as he does, I don't think people would have that much of a problem with it." 313 onwards. The WWE veteran thinks Chyna should also be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Vince Russo believes that if Triple H can be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame again, despite having been inducted as part of D-Generation X, then Chyna should receive similar recognition as well. Then induct Chyna in by herself at the same time. Right? I mean, she was in the group DX, we put them in as a group, now we gonna put him in as a singles wrestler. Who matches her? There was no other Chyna, there will never ever be another Chyna. So if you are gonna do that, does she get in next year on her own? I mean, that's just a question I am asking, Russo said. 155 onwards. It remains to be seen whether Triple H will comment on the matter in the future. For decades, Triple H has been one of WWE's most revered figures, first as a dominant in-ring competitor, then as a mastermind behind the black and gold era of NXT, and now as the head of WWE's creative direction. However, recent events have triggered a noticeable shift in fan perception, with a growing section of the WWE universe expressing frustration toward the game. But why? A WWE veteran, speaking exclusively in an interview, broke down the situation, explaining the reasons behind the backlash and how Triple H's decisions may be reshaping his legacy in unexpected ways. The Hunter Effect, from savior to target. Just a year ago, Triple H was seen as the savior of WWE's creative landscape. Following Vince McMahon's controversial retirement, and eventual return in a different capacity, fans embraced Triple H's vision with open arms. His booking choices in late 2022 and 2023 brought a renewed sense of excitement to WWE, with long-term storytelling, logical character development, and the return of beloved stars like Johnny Gargano, Karrion Kross, and Bray Wyatt. However, as time passed, some of these returns fell flat, while others were released or sidelined. "I think the biggest issue is that the honeymoon phase is over," the veteran explained. When Triple H took over, fans were desperate for a change from Vince's erratic booking. But now, they're seeing that even the game isn't perfect. The same mistakes they criticized Vince for, such as inconsistent booking and questionable talent management, are starting to show up in Hunter's reign too. Failed pushes and creative stagnation. One of the major complaints among fans is how several superstars have been handled under Triple H's leadership. Despite promising starts, some stars have been seemingly forgotten or misused. Look at LA Knight, the veteran pointed out. Here's a guy who was white-hot heading into 2023, but WWE hesitated to push him to the main event. Fans were practically begging for him to get the world title, but he ended up being a placeholder challenger for Roman Reigns. His momentum stalled when they kept him in mid-card feuds instead of elevating him. Similarly, names like Karrion Kross and Bronson Reed, who were brought back under Triple H, failed to make significant impacts, leading many to question whether these decisions were worth the hype. The veteran continued, "Triple H always talked about storytelling and long-term booking, but a lot of these stories either get dropped or don't make sense. Kross was built up like a monster and then became just another guy. Even Johnny Gargano, a favorite from NXT, has barely been on TV. So fans are asking, why bring them back if you don't have a solid plan?" The bloodline fatigue. Perhaps the biggest factor in the backlash against Triple H is the handling of the bloodline storyline. While undeniably one of the greatest sagas in modern WWE history, there's a growing feeling that it has overstayed its welcome. When Roman beat Cody at WrestleMania 39, that was the turning point, the veteran stated. Fans were ready for Cody to finish his story, and instead, WWE pulled the rug out from under them. The whole "we're telling a bigger story" excuse only worked for so long. Now, we're in 2024, and Roman has barely defended the title. People are tired of it. Indeed, the Bloodline saga, which once felt unpredictable and gripping, has become repetitive to some. At this point, it feels like WWE is stretching it just for the sake of breaking records. Fans want fresh main event matchups, and instead, they're getting Roman showing up once every few months with the same "acknowledge me" promo. The CM Punk factor. Adding fuel to the fire was the return of CM Punk, a move that split the WWE universe down the middle. When Punk came back at Survivor Series, it was huge. But now, you have people who are questioning why guys like Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre, who have been carrying Raw, are being overshadowed by someone who might not even be around long term. The situation with Punk also highlighted another criticism: Triple H's reliance on nostalgia acts. You bring back Punk, you bring back Orton, and that's great for a pop, but then guys like Gunther, Damian Priest, and Sami Zayn start feeling secondary. People don't want the same mistakes as before, where part-timers take priority over full-time guys. The women's division concerns. Another reason for fan frustration is WWE's handling of the women's division. When Triple H was running NXT, the women's division was the best in wrestling. But now, people are asking, what happened? The veteran highlighted issues like the stop-start booking of Rhea Ripley, the lack of long-term feuds outside of the Judgment Day storyline, and the sidelining of talents like Bianca Belair and Asuka. It feels like the women's division isn't as much of a priority anymore, and that's frustrating for fans who loved how strong it was in the NXT days. Conclusion: is Triple H losing the fan base? So, is Triple H truly losing the WWE universe? The veteran believes it's more of a reality check than an outright rejection. People still respect Hunter, but they're starting to realize that WWE's problems weren't just because of Vince McMahon. Running WWE is different from running NXT. You have networks, investors, and way more politics involved. That's why some things aren't changing the way people hoped. Ultimately, Triple H still has the trust of many fans, but patience is wearing thin. If WWE continues to make questionable decisions, whether it's neglecting fan-favorite stars, prolonging the Bloodline saga, or mishandling the women's division, more fans may turn against the King of Kings. The veteran ended with a warning. If Hunter doesn't start delivering on the expectations he set, the same fans who cheered him when he took over will be the ones calling for his head. It happened to Vince. It happened to other bookers before him. And if he's not careful, it'll happen to him too. Triple H and current massive WWE superstar legitimately disliked each other, says ex-champion. I've seen them interact. A former WWE superstar claimed Triple H and a current top Raw star disliked each other in real life. Stevie Richards recalled watching the two interact during his stint in the Stamford-based company. CM Punk initially joined WWE in 2005. His first run lasted nearly 9 years, during which he shared the ring with the Game several times. While Triple H continued working for the company on and off the screen, the Second City Saint departed in 2014. The 46-year-old former ECW champion returned to the promotion in 2023 after the Cerebral Assassin became the chief content officer. On a recent episode of The Stevie Richards Show, the former Hardcore champion addressed the relationship between Triple H and Punk during the latter's first run. Richards claimed the Game and the Best in the World legitimately hated each other, recalling seeing them interacting while he was in the company as well. Him and Hunter definitely didn't like each other. I've seen them interact when I was there and I got to see them interact. Shawn and CM Punk got along a little bit better, but you can tell Punk had his walls up and knew what he was dealing with. But with Hunter, it seemed like two different, they were talking at each other in a way, and I was like, oh, this isn't gonna. So, I'm amazed Punk got as far as he did, and the reason was Paul Heyman, he said. 244-310. WWE CCO Triple H previously addressed his relationship with CM Punk. At the post-Clash at the Castle press conference last year, WWE Chief Content Officer Triple H discussed the evolution of his relationship with CM Punk, stating that although they saw eye to eye during the Second City Saints' first run, it was angry eye to eye. Meanwhile, the Game disclosed that he was happy to have the 46-year-old legend back, pointing out that he was excited to see the version of Punk he wanted to see years earlier. We saw eye to eye, back then, but it was angry eye to eye, Levesque said. It was opposition eye to eye. I cannot tell you how happy I am to have him back. I cannot tell you how exciting it is, For me, to see the Phil Brooks that I wanted to see then. And while maybe my efforts to get that were taken wrong, and it's what led to friction, I always knew the Phil Brooks that I see today was inside there. He just couldn't express it in the right way. As much as WWE has changed, he has changed, and I have got to tell you, it's amazing. I am excited for the future, and I'm excited to not just work with him, but to be around him, he said. H/T, Wrestling, Inc. CM Punk is currently booked to compete against Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins in a triple threat match at WrestleMania 41. For years, the WWE Universe has speculated about behind-the-scenes tensions between top superstars and management, but a recent revelation from a former champion has sent shockwaves through the wrestling world. According to an ex-WWE champion, there was legitimate bad blood between Triple H and one of WWE's biggest current stars. The claim? These two didn't just have creative differences, they genuinely disliked each other. In a candid interview, the former champion, who chose to remain anonymous, shared their first-hand account of the icy relationship between Triple H and the unnamed massive WWE superstar. A rocky relationship from the start. The former champion, speaking to a wrestling podcast, didn't hold back when discussing the friction between Triple H and the current megastar. "I've seen them interact, and trust me, it wasn't pretty. There was real tension between them. It wasn't just a boss versus talent dynamic, it felt personal." They went on to explain that the animosity wasn't something that happened overnight but had been brewing for years. From the first time they crossed paths in WWE, they just didn't click. Maybe it was a personality clash, maybe it was ego, but you could always feel that something was off. And as time went on, it only got worse. Fans immediately began speculating about who the massive superstar could be. Was it a top-tier champion? A rising powerhouse? A returning legend? According to the ex-champion, things escalated backstage at a premium live event in 2023 when the two finally reached a breaking point. "I remember being in the locker room when it happened. Triple H was talking about the direction of a particular storyline, and, the superstar, didn't like it at all. At first, it was just a normal discussion, but then you could see the frustration building up. Voices were raised. The tension was through the roof. While security wasn't needed to separate them, it was clear that neither party was backing down. Triple H has always been a guy who expects respect, but this superstar wasn't afraid to push back. They weren't going to just nod and agree. It was one of those moments where you knew the relationship was beyond repair." Many insiders believe that the core of their issues stemmed from creative control. Triple H, as WWE's chief content officer, has the final say in storylines and character direction. Meanwhile, the unnamed superstar had gained enough star power to demand some level of influence over their own trajectory. Triple H doesn't mind giving creative input, but he also expects loyalty. If someone challenges him too much, it can rub him the wrong way. And let's just say this superstar challenged him, a lot, the ex-champion revealed. Rumors suggest that some of the superstar's booking decisions in the last year, whether a controversial loss, a sudden character shift, or even being left out of a major event, may have been a direct result of their fractured relationship with the game. Now, the biggest question on every WWE fan's mind is, who is this massive WWE superstar? Several names have surfaced in speculation, including Seth Rollins, known for his strong personality and occasional disagreements with WWE management. Rollins has publicly questioned some of WWE's booking decisions in the past. Roman Reigns, as WWE's top guy, it's hard to imagine him having heat with Triple H, but could there have been a behind-the-scenes power struggle? Cody Rhodes, returning to WWE after years of defying the company's creative direction in Cody has spoken openly about past frustrations. CM Punk, this seems like the most obvious name, given Punk's history of clashing with WWE management, but their recent reunion suggests they've put any issues behind them, at least for now. While the former champion refused to name names, they did leave fans with one cryptic clue. Let's just say this person is still very much a major player in WWE today. And their relationship with Triple H? It hasn't improved. The tension between Triple H and this superstar may not just remain behind closed doors. Some insiders believe that if things continue to sour, it could lead to a real-life power struggle. WWE is in a unique place right now. We're seeing top stars have more influence than ever. If this superstar keeps pushing back, don't be surprised if we see some major creative shakeups, or even a shocking departure, the ex-champion teased. Would Triple H ultimately be willing to bury the hatchet? Or will this tension lead to even bigger consequences in WWE's future? For now, the wrestling world can only speculate. But one thing is for sure, this rivalry is far from over.